Everyone's chasing the Gophers. You see the 12-0 start. It's the best Big Ten start in program history. And then the three teams behind them in a tie for second place: Illinois, Penn State, and the home team, the Wisconsin Badgers. You better believe the field house is packed tonight. They turn off the lights for the starting lineup. Speaking of our American Ethanol starting lineups, Minnesota has a power offense. 5 players are capable of double-digit kills. Samity and Hart had big matches the last time that they took on Wisconsin just about a month ago. And speaking of the Badgers, outside hitters could be the factor here for the Badgers. Madison putting up all-conference and all-American numbers this year. According to her head coach, they'd like to get Grace Loberg going. She's been playing less than 100% all season long and hoping that she can have a productive night tonight. The second match on BTN, you watch Purdue beat Michigan State. And now here is the main course, so to speak, the top 5 matchup here, number 3 versus number 5. Badgers and the Gophers, not only rivals, but a lot at stake. Can someone knock off Minnesota for the first time here in conference play? Samantha Seliger-Swenson will be serving first, one of the best servers in the conference and the country. In fact, they excel with their top 3 servers, and to do that for Wisconsin is huge to get them out of that rotation.
It is, and that's one thing that Kelly Sheffield said. We have to be aware when their service goes back, especially starting with Seliger-Swenson, because she's so effective in that area. That is a huge point for Wisconsin to get off the hop.
Dana Rettke delivering in her first attempt. Needs to have a big night, as we have talked about from the other side. It's a big night, possibly, for Taylor Morgan.
That's what I love about this Minnesota team, though. A very business-like approach. Really nothing rattles them. They're playing at such an elite level. It really is incredible how dominant they've been throughout the Big Ten season.
Morgan has hit at least 350 in 8 of the last 10 matches. The up and the other back set, and that time it's to Samity. Kelly Sheffield said that a month ago when we took on Minnesota, he was real transparent. He called his team a complete mess. Said if there was an absolute mulligan, that was it. We hit it into like 2 fairways across the way.
Hey, credit to Minnesota, though, because they can make teams that are incredible teams look that way because they're so stout with their tight system that they run, and every single player on their attack can get a kill.
Oh, the off speed, and it falls down for another point. And there's the production from Grace Loberg. Mentioned that they want her to be more productive. They go to her early.
And that's a smart play for her to drop in the off speed, keep the Minnesota defense honest and on their toes for the next time she loads up with a big swing.
A quick hitter right up the gut. And it's another kill for Taylor Morgan. Hugh McCutcheon and his team has won 13 straight. And you kind of mentioned it, Michelle, where he had mentioned consistency and a well-balanced attack has been the key for that stretch. And the fact that they don't care that they, frankly, have a target on their back night in and night out.
Yeah, and the level of expectation he holds for his team every day in practice. I mean, he's amongst the elite coaches across the nation, has coached at the highest level. He holds his team accountable that way as well. One
of the few errors that Tiffany Clark will commit, one of the captains and one of the best liberos in the conference. And it results in another point here for Minnesota. Hugh McCutcheon saying, you know, when teams try to attack us, put a target on our backs, that's kind of their thing. It doesn't have to be our thing. And tooling off the block for another Wisconsin point, Tiana Williams.
Yeah, that's the key for Wisconsin. Just keep chipping away. Keep this game close. A great set there by Sydney Hilly. Tiana Williams, so effective on that slide attack. Need to get the middles involved right away to free up the pins on the outside, as you mentioned, and the open. That could be a big factor here tonight.
2 kills on 2 swings here for Williams. And another point here for the Badgers to tie it up here at 4. Reagan Pittman couldn't put it away. One of the sophomores here on this team. Samantha Seliger-Swenson on the left pin, and the finish there from Adana Rollins, the freshman.
So physical, Adana Rollins, really This one started at the service line, though, and a great ball control in Minnesota. That's the other reason they're so good at the balanced attack, is because they have two incredible passers back there every single rotation between Lauren Barnes and CeCe McGraw, two of the best tandems in the Big Ten.
And the slide attack, Williams with the swing. It's the up from CeCe McGraw, who kept that alive for Minnesota, and the Gophers get another point out of it.
What a set by Seliger Swenson, using all of her weapons there. Out of system ball here. She sees the block from Wisconsin going to the other side, chooses to go to the back row attack. No good way to defend that ball.
One of the concerns for Kelly Sheffield is the fact that Minnesota is so good even just hitting out of system.
Yep.
Their pin hitters just kind of figure it out and work it around the block. That time Rollins trying to go right at it. Sydney Hilly feeding Madison Duello for the first point for Duello.
Madison Duello capable of blowing anybody up down to the sideline. These were the kind of all-American plays that Kelly Sheffield was bargaining for when we were talking to him before this match. And Madison Duello carries a significant load for this Wisconsin team. That was a great play, probably one of the players that they could have exploited in that rotation.
A slide attack there for Pittman and a nice up. That was the setter, Sydney Hilly, keeping it alive. And net violation and a point for Minnesota. 2-point edge for now for the Gophers. Kelly Sheffield said this Minnesota team has been so good, they're probably playing the best volleyball. He thought maybe in the country, they just figure out ways to win, night in and night out. Hilly with a quick attack, a swing by Duello. That time to Williams, and the up by McGraw. 8-5 now, Gophers. And the service error, the first here of the match for Minnesota.
And not something you'll see a lot of for Minnesota as well. But Wisconsin will take the break, and they need it, because you let Minnesota get away with more than 3 points on a run, and then they're gone.
In particular, Minnesota really good in that last month's matchup against the Badgers. There's Pittman, puts it down. Speaking of that matchup, here's what they were able to do.
Especially Lauren Barnes, CeCe McGraw, and Samantha Seliger Swenson, the three servers we talked about. He said everyone that goes back, there's no break. Every single player that goes back, they're so good at the jump cold serve, keeping it so close to the tape that makes it really unpredictable as a passer. It tails left, tails right. You never really know where that ball is going, and they're really good at moving the passer.
They're really good at creating runs, too. Right at the block, a double block going the Gophers' way.
Yeah, and the point before that serve, you also saw the physicality of this Minnesota team right there, starting with the block, a tremendous blocking team, but also when they're look at how high they're jumping and touching on the blocking side of that, and then imagine them reaching that same height when they're hitting the ball. So they can hit so many different angles on the court.
Taylor Morgan has waited her turn as a middle blocker. Recki throws it down. That gets the crowd going at the field house a little bit.
Dana Recki is one of the more physical players that Wisconsin has, and really imagine 6 Dana Reckis coming at you on Minnesota's side. That's kind of what it feels like to defend against. Dana Recki, though, is, as you mentioned, Lisa, she's going to have to have a huge night to be a factor in the middle.
Yeah, a cross-court shot beautifully done and converted by Alexis Hart. 6 Dana Reckis coming at you. That's like the worst Halloween nightmare.
Yeah, it really is. It's spooky if you're on the Wisconsin side, but that's how good and athletic this Minnesota offense is.
Correction, they would point to Wisconsin with Duello serving, and the block goes for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Great job by Wisconsin, just chipping away, reading that ball, and that's the Dana Recki blocking that we talked about they're going to need all night long.
Molly Haggerty at the net as well, got a kind of a left paw on it.
Nice serve by Duello.
Hilly, that quick attack that Minnesota knew was coming from the Wisconsin offense. And a back row attack and the conversion there from Samity.
This one all started with great defense by Cece McGraw laying out for that ball. Another tribute to why she won out that libero position earlier on in the year. And that back row attack, by the way, for Minnesota felt like it was a front row attack at the angle that they're hitting that ball.
And the way that Samity can do it, that was a definite front row attack here from Dana Recchi.
I love how Dana Recchi is just answering back, taking no prisoners. She said, you can do it, I can do it better. Loading up on that slide attack, shredding the Minnesota block, which doesn't happen often for this disciplined system team.
Recchi is an Illinois native, had to learn about this Wisconsin-Minnesota rivalry. They go to Recchi's way again, back to back.
Keep feeding the hot hand. If you're Sydney Hilly, take a page out of Seliger Swenson's book, who's really good at finding the hot hand. That's what Sydney Hilly's best at. Continuing to go to Dana Recchi. She is your most physical player. She's one of the few girls in the front row that can jump as high and hang with the Minnesota crew. Keep feeding her.
Make a wish, tied at 11s. Recchi again, that time McGraw with the up. What a save by CC McGraw. Recchi, that time she won't get it. Ooh, she's a hot hand right now.
She is. Dana Recchi loading up on the slide attack. We said it at the beginning, she is going to be the key here, especially if you can get her going. She's going to distract the block. Now that opens up all the other attackers when Sydney Hilly does distribute the ball to other players. Credit to Dana Recchi.
5 kills to start, in Wisconsin on a 6-1 run. Recchi one more time.
Great defense.
Recchi again. Seliger Swenson, misread. Badgers are rolling.
Love the defense on Minnesota's side, but a great patience for Wisconsin to just keep chipping away. Minnesota's going to come up with some crazy digs, but they're staying consistent right now and keeping that ball in play. More from Madison right after this.
Kind of look like it. Just a frightening trip taking on the Wolverines and the Spartans.
And Dana Recchi, there's a reason she leads the Big Ten with her hitting percentage. Watch how effective she is in the front row, loading up especially off of 1 foot. Sydney Hilly putting her in great position, speeding up that slide attack. She's hitting over the block right now. And if that's the angle she can hit, she proved to hit cut shot, line shot, every shot that she can. Keep feeding Dana Recchi.
Hitting 500 here to start, and Wisconsin has the 2-point edge. So what do the Gophers do out of the timeout? Well, they listen to Hugh McCutcheon. Laid into his team just a little bit to try to fire him up.
Yeah, he was pretty verbal there in that timeout, and I imagine just to get his team back on track. And this is a dangerous sign, too, for Wisconsin as Lauren Barnes loads up to serve. She's one of their better servers on the court, but all 6 rotations are strong in that department.
See, they had trouble handling that serve. Kelly Sheffield has said Samantha Seliger Swenson, as good as she is, she's probably just slightly behind Lauren Barnes. Still no service aces in this match yet. Going to get it.
Both teams really good in the serve and pass battle. Dana Recchi once again. I think we've seen her hit every single angle on the court. That's what's making her so tricky to defend. And I like that Wisconsin has adjusted the tempo and sometimes the location of the set, whether that's intentional or not by Sydney Hilly, I imagine it is. She's doing a great job right now of finding the seams in the Minnesota block.
In the middle attack, but Tiana Williams read it perfectly right at the net.
Not something you see every day. Minnesota getting housed on this one, but Tiana Williams, there's one thing she brings to the table. Well, it's that solid blocking. Both hands pressed across, giving her no angles to hit across for Minnesota.
A 10-2 Wisconsin run. That time, Taylor Morgan takes care of it.
Taylor Morgan motivated on that play. That was quite impressive. Learning her lesson the first time around.
And I love the fact that they went right back to her.
Yep, and that's a sign of a veteran setter there too. And probably Morgan saying, give me that ball again. I want to hit this one better.
Tiana Williams has the answer though, even with Morgan not on the court that time.
Both teams going toe-to-toe. I like the middle involvement right off the bat, making it a little bit trickier too once they start to get their pins more involved. But it's been a fast, physical, high-tempo game so far.
Well, they've gone to Tiana Williams 6 times. That's her first kill here of the match. Wisconsin with a 3-point edge. Seliger Swenson feeding the freshman. Cross-court shot. Donna Rollins really only 6 kills in the last couple of matches after that double-double against Nebraska at a season high and a career high, frankly. 20 kills, 14 digs in that match. Oh, that time with the swing. Wow, that was great defense by the Gophers, but they couldn't quite get it.
No quit in this
effort.
Yeah, no quit in this Gopher team, but a great play by Madison Duello. This is exactly what we were talking about before the game. She's got such a heavy arm swing, splitting both defenders, knows exactly what shots to go for on the court. She's so smart, love the way that she plays, especially on the biggest stage.
Right behind Dana Recchi with those couple of kills here already. There's Rollins. Clark with the save, and again another finish. That time it's Molly Haggerty.
Molly Haggerty, another player they're going to need some involvement with, and that's what helps when you have your middles involved, because it mixes up the blocking situation, especially against Seliger Swenson, who's not the most physical block on the court in terms of height. Great matchup there by Sydney Hilly.
First service error for Wisconsin. So now 1 error for Minnesota and 1 for Wisconsin, and we're still waiting on our first ace here of this set and of the match. Side attack, Williams, tooling again.
Wisconsin having a lot of success right now on that slide attack with both of their middles really doing a nice job executing on that, taking advantage of Minnesota, who's just a little bit late, a half second late to react to that slide attack. Sydney Hilly's bumping up the tempo a little bit, picking up that speed. Great job by Tiana Williams.
To Reagan Pittman, and a point for Wisconsin.
We might have a challenge here on that. Looked like Minnesota was asking for the touch.
And Hugh McCutcheon doing exactly that. Good call. Remember, you get 3 challenges in the match. You get to a 5th set, you get an added challenge. They won't be challenging the touch.
Let's have a look here. Tough not to get a touch off Dana Recchi, but let's take a closer look.
That's a great point. All 6'8" of her.
Yeah, exactly. Tough from that angle. I didn't see any movement there. The trajectory of the ball doesn't look like it changed. Let's have a look at this one.
And I love how both teams are trying to sell it at the end.
Yeah, exactly. We have some great actresses on the court here, making it difficult to tell what exactly did happen on this play. Oh gosh, that's close. It looks like she could have gotten it on her way up. Dana Recchi was late to the block, so it looks like it just missed her. I don't see a touch on that, I don't think. At least it's not conclusive evidence.
I was going to say there has to be enough video evidence to overturn it. And the call stands. So it's still 20-15 Minnesota now with 2 challenges left in this match.
It's a smart decision, though, to slow down the play and get some momentum, especially now that Wisconsin's in the 20 range where your team's trailing by 5 here. But Wisconsin really has showed up and executed a great game plan.
Now remember, Minnesota in conference play has only dropped 2 sets total, both to Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane, the way that they've been dominating. Considering how good the Big Ten is across the nation, think about that for a second. You've only dropped 2 in 12 matches.
Hart couldn't get it. And now it's 21-15, and Minnesota is 4 points away and in danger of dropping a possible 3rd set here in Big Ten play. The crowd at the Fieldhouse can feel it. I'm scared just watching them.
I know. The adrenaline rush. I can't. Halloween. The haunted house thing for me. Kudos to these girls for being so brave, but I can't do it.
Just the 2 of them. Love volleyball on this Halloween night. crowd has come out as we showed you in some of our opening shots. They always kind of bring it.
Perhaps that prepared her bravery for tonight's matchup against Minnesota.
We've got Luigi in the house. We've got a
Love
construction worker in the house. All kinds of witches in the house. We've got the dive team, the lifeguards in the house. We've got Luke Skywalker, I believe.
I think I saw a banana in the crowd somewhere before the game as well.
I feel like we always see a banana.
Big fan. Keeping it simple. I like it. The streamlined approach.
3 points away, Wisconsin is.
There he is. The banana and the hot dog. Just hanging out, watching some volleyball.
You got to appreciate the simplicity, right, of that costume and those choices.
And Wisconsin is making a statement here in set number 1. Matching their performance to the banana and the hot dog.
Hart trying to go down the line, now 2 points away from closing out this set. Minnesota's last loss in a road first set at Stanford. They lost the match 3-1. That was back in early September.
Wow.
Here's Hart again. That time tries the off speed. Pittman. Feeding Recky down the middle. No, she didn't get it. She wanted it, so did that crowd.
So hungry for it. I love the chemistry right now between Sydney Hilly and Dana Recky, really all season long, but
that's close.
That was close.
Challenge. You can hear the cheering in the field house with that decision.
I think that caught the line. That angle looked like it took the line there. Yeah, I don't see any red between the ball and the white line.
Again, there needs to be enough video evidence to overturn it.
Yeah, that's got line. That's it. That ball's in. I mean,
which is a huge difference because if Wisconsin gets this point, it's now suddenly set point for the Badgers.
Yeah, that ball's in. Huge momentum swing point, as you said, and sitting that at Dana Recky, I just love. She's so fun to watch. She's so aggressive and just a force to be reckoned with. Just a sophomore. Get 2 more years with her in Madison.
And again, the significance of this, Minnesota dropped a set to Nebraska on October 6th, and they dropped a set to Nebraska on October 20th, and that has been it in Big Ten play.
Yeah, 10 sweeps for Minnesota in the 12-game winning streak in the Big Ten.
They reverse it.
Yep.
We are at set point.
Wisconsin showing up to play. Look at the energy on the sideline of the crowd. You can't deny that. That is feeding in to their fire.
Swenson trying to tip it over. And a free ball here for the Gophers. Back set to Pittman. Puts it away. Ends a 6-0 run for Wisconsin.
Love that set by Soliger Swenson, finding the open holes, leaving her in a split blocking situation. Dana Recky just a little bit late to that slide attack. And really on both sides, that option has been available to both teams. Looks like both coaches are utilizing the slide attack on a quicker tempo, fooling both sides of the block.
Set point number 2. Hilly. Duello gets the touch. Wisconsin gets the set win.
A statement win for Wisconsin. You would have expected it to go to either Dana Recky or Madison. Duello carrying a huge load for this team in set number 1. Wisconsin coming out, staying steady. They looked in control that entire first set.
The 3rd set loss in Big Ten play this year. And a set low in terms of points scored for Minnesota. Dana Recky, she needs All-American, All-Conference honors for Wisconsin to pull out the upset. So far, so good for Recky and the Badgers. So big in terms for Wisconsin, a much different story than a month ago.
Yeah, and 20 of their 32 attempts for Wisconsin in the first set came from their middles. You can't run your middles without solid ball control, and that is attention to detail. Molly Haggerty has been spectacular in the back row, but all the passers, this is an area of the game that's so important to be able to run a balanced offense, and that's been there all night on Wisconsin's side. It starts with your first contact and ball control, and they've been excellent in the serve and pass.
You mentioned Molly Haggerty, and it's one thing that Kelly Sheffield has said that, before her injury, before her back issues that she had that forced her to redshirt last year, she was always just kind of the hammer, and now she's kind of developed her game to be much more than that. Playing with a bum left hand, though, by the way.
Right. That's a tough cookie right there, and she's somebody, too, that he says thrives on the big stages and in the big matches, and that's exactly what this is here tonight. Wisconsin has shown up on all cylinders tonight.
A season low in terms of points scored in a set, though, for Minnesota. Previous low had been 17. They had 16 in that first set. Struggled offensively, hit below 100 in that first set with 9 attack errors.
Yeah, that's not typically something you're going to see from Minnesota, but Wisconsin really forced them into those errors. Winning the serve and pass battle, Exhibit A, with a great ace there by Madison Duello. Oh, it was out. Almost an ace, but the serve and pass battle has been in Wisconsin's favor.
Second service error of the night for Wisconsin. Here's CC McGraw. Slide attack for Recchi. Evens it up at 1.
Dana Recchi hitting over 500 right now in that slide attack, and that's been a part of Wisconsin's game plan. I'm surprised Minnesota's not cheating out that way when they know that that's been the tendency for Dana Recchi, but excellent job for Recchi.
And another service error here to start, so 2 of them to begin this second set.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You have to be aggressive to get both teams out of system, to take the middles out of it, but that sometimes can require an error.
Hilly, one more time to Recchi. She's got 9 kills on the match.
She does, and I want to know the percentage of those that have been on the slide attack behind the setter. Still, once again, finding a split blocking situation. Reagan Pittman just a little bit slow to get out to the pin. That's an area that Minnesota's usually very solid in, is blocking.
There's Pittman with the off speed. And Wisconsin kind of challenging Minnesota.
Woo!
Right at Samity. Tough to stop.
Grace Loberg going right at that line digger. Another heavy arm swing. Both her and Madison Duello have that heavy, difficult arm swing to defend against.
Rollins going at Emmy Dodge. And we're tied at 3. Kelly Sheffield and Wisconsin have played a tough schedule. They've already knocked off 6 top 25 opponents this year. Texas, Marquette, Purdue, Illinois, Michigan, and Nebraska.
Oof. That was a great serve by Minnesota. Tough ball to read for Emmy Dodge. Looked like that ball was floating a little bit up, might have been going out, but a tricky one for a passer to get your feet back quicker and get your platform out sooner. That's a tough ball to pass.
Minnesota, you see, has also beaten 6 ranked opponents. And they're kind of picking on Emmy Dodge here into this match. Williams trying to go down the line, can't get it. And Minnesota was with a nice response to start this second set.
And it starts at the service line. You can see them as the ball control starts to trickle off for Wisconsin. So does the score, pulling in favor for Minnesota.
Hilly to Loberg. Seliger Swenson down to Hart, who goes right down the line. She's got shot after shot maker.
And she was looking for a response after a tough first set for Hart, who really wasn't a factor in the first set.
6-0 run here for Minnesota. Hart down the line for the lead. Last time Minnesota and Wisconsin met, we had a couple of werewolves, for lack of a better Halloween term, of Minneapolis. Look at their season highs and a couple of hit percentages, 545 and 609.
Yeah, they were a nightmare for Wisconsin to face the first time around, but doing a really good job this match, holding both of them to 5 kills combined and really making Alexis Hart a non-factor, although we see her starting to gain some momentum and some confidence back in this second set so far.
Still looking for the first service ace.
Yeah, both teams are so good at the serve and pass battle that I would...
It was close.
Yeah, that was a close one, but their passers are so good on both sides that it would be a rarity to come by an ace in this match.
Minnesota does have one. Wisconsin still searching for its first. Pittman off the block. Megan Pittman being 391 this year, 5th best in the Big Ten. Gets the point, and we'll go back to serve. Free ball, taking care of it. Hard all the way.
That's not a gimme you can give up against Minnesota. And Minnesota at the service line too, picking on the outside hitters in the back row a little bit. You can see them aiming at Grace Loberg because they're not going to serve to Tiffany Clark, and Haggerty's been doing such a good job putting dimes up there for Sydney Hilly.
Transition look for Duello, and she got the touch. One of the emphasis for Kelly Sheffield in Wisconsin is avoid the Minnesota runs. That's something they weren't able to do in Minneapolis. First set, they jumped out to an 8-0 run. Haley out to Duello. Oliver Swenson feeding back row. Haggerty with the swing. Samity. Long rally here. Hart looking to end it. And she does.
Alexis Hart has been coming to life in this second set. That was a great defensive play by Samity to recover her own coverage. And then Alexis Hart being loaded up and ready on the outside. Tiffany Clark just getting caught a little bit too far inside of the block, but that one started with a great athletic play by Samity.
This is where Minnesota is dangerous. Samantha Seliger-Swenson now serving. Hilly feeding Haggerty. McGraw keeping it alive. Hustle points for Minnesota.
Great defense.
Williams can't get it. Another finish.
See the athleticism on display for Taylor Morgan. Great defense, though, on both sides. Starting with Minnesota on that first play. Wisconsin laying out there, but Taylor Morgan ultimately with the final say on that great grab by Grace Loberg.
Morgan is one of 3 players from Minnesota with 4 kills here to start. Williams with the attempt, and Samity.
Here you see Minnesota starting to roll. These are the runs you talk about that Kelly Sheffield wanted to avoid against Minnesota. This is where they start to feel the confidence. They start to get their wheels going. That starts by being in system and then also controlling the game from the service line.
Definitely the rotation that they want to be in. Hilly, the back set to Duello. Haggerty keeps it alive, back to Duello, gets the touch.
Great dig.
That was Rollins all over it. There's a dig from Clark.
Love the defense right now on both sides, but you got to credit the freshman Adana Rollins in the back row there, laying out, and she had a great dig before that play as well, but just doing a nice job, not giving up on plays, and especially for a player that's as physical as her and as tall as her, it's not always easy to play defense in the back row, and she's doing a really good job right now reading and reacting to plays.
Exactly the run that the Badgers were concerned about. Exactly the response that Minnesota wanted. Haggerty going after it.
Yeah, Wisconsin losing a little bit of steam, but I would say it's all about what Minnesota is doing right now and how they've been able to find their rhythm, taking more control of the match. For Wisconsin to get back in it, they need to start getting Minnesota out of system like they had been doing, keep running the middles, and that requires also a great first ball contact. Dana Recke needs to get going here.
Here's the captain serving Tiffany Clark. Samantha Seliger-Swenson feeding Samity. Stephanie Samity, we've seen a lot of back row attacks and swings from her.
Yeah, and that's the luxury of having an athlete like Samity, because you see her go high tempo on the opposite side. She can run the quick ball in the middle. In the back row, it looks like she's hitting a front row attack because that's the angle that she's hitting it at. So athletic. She's coming back to her original form that she played in the first time around against Wisconsin.
Double-digit kills against Michigan. The last time out, there's Recke trying to build momentum here for the home team.
Great set by Hilly, keeping it simple. Great defense on Wisconsin's side, but even against a double block, Dana Recke is really equally physical as Minnesota, so that's your hot hand. Keep feeding her.
Rollins on the left side.
She looks like a mini Samity with the athleticism and the way that she's able to strike the ball at that physical point. Just a freshman, really incredible athlete. Love how she's been playing in the back row and then taking care of business in the front row. Very unassuming, but very powerful.
Rollins now one of 4 players with at least 4 kills for Minnesota. That well-balanced attack now showing up, especially here in the second set. And the block is there for the Badgers.
Dana Recke, the spark plug for this Wisconsin team on all aspects of the game, really at the blocking standpoint, taking away space. Even if you can't get a stuff block like she just did, you need to have good blocking positioning to give your defense a chance to defend against Minnesota.
Needs a Big 10 in blocks per set and another. Seliger-Swenson.
Big dig by Tiffany Clark.
Over to Samity.
Yikes. That's how they get you. She jumps so high, hitting the ball at such a high point. Watch how she goes over a physical Dana Recke and Grace Loberg. She's hitting at least 6 inches above that block.
Has responded with an equally good sophomore year as she did an All-American freshman year. Recke Tulin. She's a double-digit kills in this match with 11, has now posted double-digit kills in each of her 11 matches, including tonight.
Most people would be happy with 11 kills at the end of a match. To have it through 2 sets already, Dana Recke has been so good.
How about the dig from Recke?
Love it. 6'8". Oh boy, Minnesota just keeps it alive.
Loberg. Oh, what a play. McGraw. Some opportunities on this rally for Wisconsin. And now it's Minnesota's turn. There's Rollins with the answer.
Initially was called a net violation there against Wisconsin, but great defense on Minnesota's side. This is how they chip away at you, because they start to frustrate you. These balls that you think are going to be automatic kills that typically would be against another team, Minnesota finds a way to win because they find a way to keep the ball alive and in play.
Part of the championship response, there's Logan Loberg with the point.
Pretty impressive what Grace Loberg has been able to do despite the pain she's likely in, as you mentioned, not playing at 100% right now and still just powering through the rest of the season, finding ways to produce.
Yeah, you have a player who's a 6 rotation player, by the way, who is not 100%. Pittman forced to push it over the middle attack for Williams.
That's where Wisconsin has had a lot of success, is running their middles. Credit to the pass there for Wisconsin staying involved. But even in a one-on-one situation, the middles are finding ways to put the ball down. Tiana Williams, no different in that category. Reagan Pittman just a little bit late to the block and not tracking her hitter as closely as Hugh Touch would probably like.
Right back to Hart. Cross court set to Loberg. Time it was set up by Hart, but it's hit out of play. A sold-out crowd at the field house, loving this. Momentum building here for the home team. Minnesota still with the edge.
Stat there, but the Big Ten, anything can happen, and it's a gauntlet night in, night out, but goes to show how impressive it is for a team like Minnesota that we're watching here tonight to be a perfect 12-0 with 7 teams ranked in the top 25.
Yeah, Indiana upsetting Michigan tonight too, and of course the Wolverines have been having some setter problems. And that has affected them even last weekend, and of course again here tonight affects their offense. You don't have that quarterback or don't have that point guard. Minnesota coming out of that timeout, picking up the point. And I said that this was a championship response by the Gophers. Season lows in production in set number 1 against Wisconsin. On the road for Hugh McCutcheon and his squad. How would they respond in set number 2?
And really a player that's stepped up big time. Alexis Hart has gotten a couple of kills, but Adana Rollins, the freshman, 6 kills, no errors on this match so far, and really has taken a big load on her shoulders as just a young player on the outside.
Mishandled by Loberg, so Clark has to hustle. A free ball now for the Gophers. Out to Hart, gets the touch. Nice play by Haggerty. Hart will give it a go. Hilly to Loberg. For Minnesota.
Wisconsin has chipped their way back into this set that looked to be handedly in Minnesota's favor.
Look at that. The hitting errors for the Gophers. By the way, their hit percentage is tops in the Big Ten. Because of their production here in the second set, they're at least above hitting 100 here in the match. Taylor Morgan trying to go right at the block. Badgers are creeping up, 17-15.
Wisconsin very disciplined right now. Great job by Tiana Williams tracking her hitter, realizing that she is still responsible for that middle attacker, even though Cellular swung her around to the quick attack behind her. Great discipline by Tiana Williams.
Saved by Loberg. Haggerty with the swing. Cross court set over to Hart. It's Duello and Williams there.
And really the blocking for Wisconsin has been the recent spark plug for this comeback, and that was an excellent textbook form by Madison Duello and Tiana Williams, closing out to her pin blocker, not giving Minnesota any options on that attack.
Over 7,000 strong, loving this comeback in the second set. Again to Hart. They were going to continue to feed her and feed her. They've gone to her over 20 times so far in this match. 6 of 21. Kelly to Duello. And the block big time. And each time Minnesota gets a point, it sounds like a library in the field house.
It really does. The silence treatment by the crowd, but that was an athletic play by Taylor Morgan. Look at the passion after that too, just pressing over. No option for Madison Duello, no room for her to crack that seam like she had intended.
We are in the second half of conference play in the volleyball season, but in terms of soccer and field hockey, we're in the postseason. Friday, check out the women's soccer tournament semifinals. It begins at 11 a.m. Eastern. Quarterfinals taking place on Sunday, and of course the championship coming up this coming Sunday. Stephanie Samity was a little quiet in the first set, but she's picked things up here in set number 2.
Yeah, she has, and her athleticism has been on display. Really just the point at which she hits the ball at. Watch her point of attack, even out of the back row. That is some fast pace and a difficult angle to defend against, but she's a weapon and a threat no matter where she is on the court. Seliger Swenson, of course, putting her in the best possible position to succeed.
Hitting 188 for the match. Not a lot of stellar hit percentages right now on the Minnesota side.
Yeah, which is surprising, but Wisconsin has been doing a nice job shutting them down blocking-wise.
We saw Wisconsin going through the haunted house, and Minnesota had its turn at carving some pumpkins. And speaking of pumpkins, how about the pumpkins left in the patch? See what we did there?
What a segue.
Can Minnesota win out and be perfect? They are chasing perfection in conference play. This is what they have left over.
Gosh, and that would be a steep task if they can get through all of the names on this list, especially to round out Penn State, especially considering what Purdue managed to pull against Penn State. But you almost want to toss, not that you want to lose, but I feel like you can learn the most from a loss. It's almost dangerous to go into the NCAA tournament completely perfect. You don't really know how to respond to adversity, but this group seems to do it flawlessly.
Samantha Seliger Swenson tried to get it, couldn't get it. Technically, Minnesota's already lost a couple times, just not in conference play. The last time they had to taste defeat, you got to go back to early September. It was back-to-back against Oregon and Stanford. Friday, Sunday matches early in the year.
I don't think late adversity would be the worst thing that could happen. They certainly, they keep playing the way that they have, they certainly could finish out with perfection, but that's a steep task to chase.
A lot of pressure, too, that so far Minnesota has yet to show that pressure. Look at the heart point. Minnesota that was held to 16 points in set number 1 now reached the 20-point mark. Recky tried to finish it, thought she might have had it. And each time they need momentum, they seem to go number 16's way.
Yeah, and rightly so, because she was such a factor in the first set. Wisconsin challenging this one. Kelly Sheffield looking helps in that department.
Call stands. So Wisconsin has one more challenge remaining unless we get to a 5th set. Minnesota still with its 2 remaining. And it is now 21-17 in the second. Quick attack for Wisconsin. There's Samity. Hilly to Recchi. No question about that one.
No question about that one, and a smart play by Sydney Hilly to keep going to Dana Recchi to crawl their way back into this set. Minnesota's not going to give you anything at this point. This one in transition, Dana Recchi doing a nice job, getting her feet back, loading up, getting ready. And that time, a one-on-one situation, not necessarily having to choose her angles against a three-person block.
Back set to Samity. There's a joust at the net, going down hard.
And a little laugh there for Dana Recchi, who took one to the face off Sydney Hilly. You mentioned soccer earlier in the broadcast. It appears Sydney Hilly took a note.
Someone's got to remind her setter that that's her teammate.
And maybe a yoga move there for Dana Recchi. Very versatile athlete there.
Don't want to face kill your own teammate. Back set, there she goes to Recchi to try to feed her. Seliger, Swenson to Rollins. Hilly tips it. Rollins with the attempt, rolls off the tape. Here's Haggerty. Rollins, it's down. 2 points away from Minnesota closing it out.
Great shot selection there by Rollins, going deep corner. Grace Loberg had committed already to the deep line shot. That corner was wide open, and the freshman saw it and sniped it.
Haggerty with the finish.
Never say never to this Wisconsin team. Another great play and an answer back by Haggerty. The more challenging situation, splitting the block. Excellent play.
Big Ten Freshman of the Year in 2016. She was a third-team All-American. Has been battling injuries since that year. Almost got Wisconsin's first ace. Hilly to Recchi. How many times are you going to say that in this Badger career? Hilly to Recchi.
Right, yeah, exactly. Ready or not, here Dana Recchi comes. That time wide open against the freshman. Rollins on the other side, and Dana Recchi shredding them. 13 kills, just one error on this match so far. It's unbelievable. Still hitting above 500, so she ain't missing.
To the left pin, giving Rollins a swing. Recchi again. Wisconsin has punched into comeback mode.
You called it, Dana Recchi. And that's a quicker tempo set. I like the game plan for Wisconsin going into this. Obviously, kicking up that speed a little bit for Dana Recchi on the slide attack, and you can see the impact it's having. They're beating the Minnesota block in all forms, especially on that slide attack right now, finding the split blocking situation. And Minnesota right now, without taking away space on Recchi, she's becoming very difficult to defend because you no longer have a funnel when your middle blocker is not out there. It's just a guessing game at that point for the defense to try and guess where Dana Recchi's going to be. Such a fast arm swing.
With the volleyball version of jump around.
I love it.
Over 7,000 strong. They've sold out tonight. They had sold out all 8 contests.
They line up, what, 4 hours before game time? And Madison's one of the best college towns, in my opinion. So much fun.
It's a great story with the field house and the development of the fan interest for this program. Kelly Sheffield had talked about when in year number 1, half the concessions weren't even open. And now they've opened up the upper deck and all the concessions too, by the way. There is talk of even opening up more in the upper deck for the coming seasons. Right now, Minnesota looking to close out set number 2. The Gophers haven't lost the first 2 sets of a Big Ten road match since last September of last year.
Wow.
At Nebraska.
Now that's saying something. That is consistency.
Recchi's still feeling. Really with a pat on the back for her teammate. Obviously, all of that unintentional.
What a luxury for Sydney Hilly to have a player like Dana Recchi. So athletic, so good.
Sophomore class is solid for Wisconsin. There's Hilly Araki again. That's the kind of combination the two are looking for.
Keep running that play, and that play got to give some love to the libero and on defense that doesn't always get recognized in these kind of plays. Yes, Dana Recky's hitting lights out, but that ball doesn't get to her if Tiffany Clark doesn't put Sydney Hilly in a perfect position to run it.
Now only a 1-point Minnesota edge. Oh, what a big point for Samity in Minnesota. Now set point.
That was a quick tempo there by Seliger Swenson on Minnesota side. Watch how fast this ball comes out of her hands. I don't even know if Samity was prepared for that to come out that quick, but she grabs it before it gets to the pin, and a great play by Stephanie Samity.
Ends a 4-0 Badger run. Gophers looking to end it. Hilly Turecki. Minnesota keeps it alive. And Minnesota does it. The response in the second set.
Even though things got a little dicey there, they still found a way to get it done. Minnesota responding in business-like fashion and doing a nice job there, really staying steady and staying disciplined amidst a little bit of adversity there, but a great job too on the outside.
Jasmine Martin ends it. And Minnesota was up by as many as 7 points. 14-7 twice. 14-7 and 12-5 in set number 2. But Wisconsin made it interesting, closing set number 2 to at least 1 point. Let's bring in the head coach for Minnesota, Hugh McCutcheon. And coach, how do you measure that response from your team going from set 1 to set 2?
Yeah, I was happy with the way they responded. Obviously, Wisconsin's playing really well, and they should. They're a good team. So for us to be able to find a way to, turn it around a little bit in that second set and come away with a win, we're very happy with that. But still a lot of game left.
Coach, tactically, what was better in that second set, in your opinion, than the first for your team?
Yeah, we hit it in a little bit more. That was good. We really just needed some offensive production. That was the big difference in set 1. And we still, I don't think, are firing on all cylinders, but if we can get the offense going, I think we got a chance. But they're defending well. They're in good spots. It's a tough match for us.
Coach, thank you.
Yep, cheers.
One of the best offenses in the country. We are knotted at 1 in Madison. The two rivals in the border battle, and a matchup of 2 top 5 teams in the country.
Minnesota fashion that is so dominant that we've seen all season.
Seliger Swenson will start out serving in the third set. They made a really good run with her serving in the second set. Right at the double block there for Haggerty.
So they call the lift here on Haggerty, who's not pleased about that one, but I think it was a lift.
They go to Recchi again. Early, often, and successfully tonight.
Yeah, and as much as you can. A great pass there by Emmy Dodge. That's what we were talking about with the good serve receive. When you can get Sydney Hilly in a perfect position, she can run all of her hitters and put Dana Recchi in a one-on-one situation.
Had over 20 kills in the last weekend against Michigan. She is approaching that again. 17 here on the night.
And she's not stopping now. Great job by Dana Recchi, continuing to find ways to get kills.
The starts of the sets have been key. The up from Clark as Hilly comes over. Back row attempts there from Haggerty. Barnes now with the serve, and Barnes with the save. is hit right into the net.
What a swing by Grace Loberg on Wisconsin's side, really creating that play. And off a one-handed set by Sydney Hilly. That's what Kelly Sheffield said. She's not necessarily the most flashy setter on the court, but she is so effective. Her location is so consistent. Sydney Hilly, in my mind, is one of the great setters in the Big Ten.
Samity gets the point, and Kelly Sheffield had said Hilly's not going to be your Jordan Poulter. She's not going to be your Lauren Carlini. But what she will be is she will be effective. And what this is another tight back and forth start to set number 3, tied at 3. Williams off the touch. And it'll be a point here for Minnesota. Tried to go off speed. One, two, three serving by Seliger Swenson and Barnes and now McGraw. Finishing it off for Loberg.
Yeah, Grace Loberg coming up with a couple of powerful swings. That time exploiting the line shot down the middle, right at Seliger Swenson. And a great play there. That does two things. Even if Seliger Swenson digs it, that takes her out of the play so she doesn't set it on the second ball. So either way, smart choice to go down the line.
Minnesota takes the lead again. These Gophers, their head coach has said they have the space between what they say and what they do. They walk the talk, part of their success here this year. Great job there by Barnes to keep it alive. Out of system for Minnesota, but that's what they can do so well. And how about the adjustment? One adjustment from Reagan Pittman.
Great job by Minnesota, and a good reactionary play by Wisconsin as well. And a crafty little set there by Seliger Swenson. I don't even know if she knew what she was doing on that play.
You touched upon it at the beginning, though. Samantha Seliger Swenson can find a set anywhere on the court.
She can. She's so good. So fun to watch. She makes it look easy.
The Big Ten setter of the week. Second in the Big Ten in terms of assists per set. And she's got 27 here tonight.
Minnesota native. Tandem, the Minnesota tandem between her and Cece McGraw.
Picks up another assist, and Rollins picks up another kill. Samantha Seliger Swenson, it was a double duo attack in terms of honors this week. Cece McGraw picking up Freshman of the Week honors, had a career-high 24 digs against a ranked Michigan team.
She's a fun one to watch in the back row, too. If you watch her positioning, she's always staying low and ready to react no matter what. Her feet get stopped, she reacts. She's so quick in the back row.
Seliger Swenson, Minnesota getting it over.
Wow.
No. Outside the antenna, but what a hustle move from Samantha Seliger Swenson and then Alexis Hart.
Even trying to get a set off with the golf club, and I wouldn't have been surprised if she got that with the polar bear dive by Seliger Swenson. That's dedication right there.
To Pittman. Loberg with the setup. Clark with the dig. And Duello. Hart with the swing. Wisconsin with the defense, the joust at the net. Pittman wins it.
It's a physical matchup there between Dana Recchi and Reagan Pittman, but a good rally all in all. Madison Duello trying to find a way to put the ball down, and an excellent dig there by Grace Loberg in the back row. Reagan Pittman coming up stronger, using that core a little bit tighter against Dana Recchi.
perfectly by Duello.
Smart play by Madison Duello. Noticing that all the three blockers on Minnesota's side were keying in on her in that middle attacking position, which leaves open that little garden shot right there.
And Hilly now with 33 assists, 20 straight matches with 30 or more assists for the Wisconsin setter. Hart, no question about it. Whew.
That was a fast arm swing for Alexis Hart. Sniping that line. Watch the way she loads up. And that's the way she gets kills best, right outside the arm of Sydney Hilly.
32-inch vertical, by the way. Won the long jump and the triple jump back in states in high school. Not gonna get easier than that for Samity. Tip kill.
And Minnesota's not lacking with athletes in the front row for Stephanie Samity ultimately having the final say, but that's a stacked lineup. Those three in the front row all together, not only the blocking side of things, but how high they can jump and out physically play you.
Recchi placing it. 18 kills now for Dana Recchi. We haven't said her name in a little while in this third set.
Yeah, 18 kills. Another career night for Dana Recchi. She's gonna need some help though by the rest of her teammates come through in this one.
Off the tape, Minnesota handles it. Middle attack there for Morgan. And the finish for the Wisconsin side. We're tied up at 10 again.
Grace Loberg has come up with some very timely kills during points where Wisconsin really needs the momentum swing in their favor. Great job by Loberg. No errors so far on this match as well.
Kelly Sheffield says we need more from Loberg. We need more from Haggerty. More consistency from those two. Here's Hart. Clark. Really good defense here from both of these teams tonight. Recchi. And it's Rollins who had the dig in the back row.
Smart grab by Recchi there with Cellular Swenson.
Middle attack. Taylor Morgan.
Yeah, this is a battle every single point. Neither team's really going to give you anything. There's no gimmies in this matchup, but a great, fun match to be a part of. Everybody chipping in, finding ways to get points. That's what Minnesota does.
Taylor Morgan, you know her story of resiliency, battling back from ACL and meniscus surgeries. And Barnes could not handle that. Tied again at 11s.
19 kills for Dana Recchi. Such a fast, high arm swing. And so smart with the angles she chooses for such a young player.
Double-digit kills now in 11 straight matches. The service error gives Minnesota a 12-11 advantage. Recchi will go for it. She can. Service line.
She's got a great serve, too.
Hilly feeding Loper.
Great approach by Grace Loberg. Loading up with those legs, finding the seam in the block, splitting the defense, choosing to go line, but slightly closer to the middle of the court, stumping the backcourt for Minnesota.
7 kills tonight. She had 11 against Michigan State. They go back to her again.
And even more key, she's not making any errors.
And Loberg that time keeping it alive. Hilly will go to Loberg one more time. Feeding that left side again and again and again. Right at the net. It was almost a half swing there for Samity.
Great defense by Tiana Williams. And then even in a double blocking situation, Sydney Hilly just trying to find a way to get it to her hitter. But Grace Loberg coming to life here the last couple of points, stealing the momentum for Wisconsin.
Right at the block. Minnesota will get another chance at it. The freshman with the swing. Tools it. Tied at 13. What a competitive back and forth match we have had. Top 5 in the border battle. A rivalry between Minnesota and Wisconsin. Barnes will keep it alive. Rollins with the swing. Back to back now for Adana Rollins.
And a low error match for her as well. Not only is she effective, but she's also keeping the balls in play. 10 kills so far on the night.
Her coach, direct quote, says she's not chopped liver on the pin. So even though her numbers were down the last couple of matches, we had to go to her really kind of an out-of-system opportunities. How about Rollins again?
Yeah, she's answering the bell tonight and proving her capabilities, probably not only to her coach, but also to herself, that she can hang in the Big Ten and on the biggest stage. More from Madison when we come back.
To Mike Ruckty there. Want to wish our longtime engineer here at BTN a sincere farewell and good luck. He's off to Hollywood, leaving Hollywood for us, but part of the Student U program and a Purdue grad, and very, very valuable, and we wish him well. Here he is, lower right corner. I guess he's a kitten. Engineer by day, maybe kitten by night. Sedliger Swenson again to the freshman. Out of that timeout, doesn't matter. Rollins still effective.
Rollins earning her keep here in the front row. Absolutely tearing it up, and probably not somebody that Wisconsin really game planned a ton for, given her numbers the last couple of games, as you mentioned. But incredible performance for her. Wisconsin looking to wall their way back into this one.
Loberg, they needed production from her. They've gotten production from her.
Yeah, and in the timely moments, too, when they really needed a kick of momentum, she has been lights out both sides of the pin and really doing a nice job staying low air and finding ways to get this Wisconsin team points in crucial moments.
10 ties in just this set alone, by the way. The match is tied 1-1 between Wisconsin and Minnesota. And the Gophers creeping up on that 20-point mark here in the third set. Cool, calm, and collected after dropping that first set to the home team.
There's no panic in this Minnesota team.
Badgers responding there. Joust at the net between Williams and Sedliger Swenson. Haggerty went after it, and the block won it. And Minnesota, all smiles here so far, has deflated the energy in this building. Back set to Duello. To Pittman. Cross court for the finish.
What a set by Sedliger Swenson. Reversing the flow of the offense. She's coming forward a little bit. And Reagan Pittman out of transition. A great job by her getting her footwork to the opposite pin. She's blocking on the other side of the net. Does a great job of spreading the net, spreading the block against Wisconsin, and that deep corner shot is gold. Loves it. Love the reaction and the passion.
Reagan Pittman, a Kansas native, actually played in the same club that Madison Duello did, both for KC Power. There's a lot of connections between these players. They know each other well. The two head coaches know each other well as well. Saturday, BTN brings you a doubleheader of action. The Badgers look to get back to their winning ways at noon. Then the Gophers and the Illini face off at 3:30. Football on Saturday on BTN. As Wisconsin, as we mentioned, dropped one to Northwestern last week. Minnesota with a big win football-wise. With a long touchdown to beat Indiana last Friday. Around the top 5, these are national rankings, and as well as Minnesota has played, they just can't get to that 1 and 2 spot because BYU and Stanford's done a good job in kind of holding serve, for lack of a better term, all season long.
Yeah, and it's competitive all the way up into the top, but Minnesota has held court in the Big Ten, which is good enough in their eyes, and really all that matters, you know, the rankings at the end of the day. What really matters is how you play in the big dance and how you show up, and Minnesota will be well prepared for that.
BYU, the only team that's left that's undefeated in the country. Duello gets the point.
My argument to that would be they're not playing the teams in the Big Ten every weekend where the gauntlet exists. Would love to see what that record would look like if they were in the Big Ten. Not sure it would be undefeated.
Well, Pittsburgh, the other undefeated team, one of the last 2 other than BYU, just recently lost. Hart with the swing. And go back to Hart, that time punching it with the left hand. Samity to Seliger Swenson, she gets it. And Minnesota gets the touch. That is just Samantha Seliger Swenson running all over.
Making it look easy and effortless.
Played for Northern Lights. Paige and Hannah Tapp, Sarah Wilhite, Molly Lohman. Can you imagine that team?
No.
And originally, Samantha Seliger Swenson wasn't sure she wanted to play at Minnesota. And all those players decided to come to Minneapolis. And Laura Bush, one of the lead recruiters. And Wisconsin getting the touch. Now 21-16. A turning point set for both of these teams. Again, Wisconsin taking the first set, Minnesota with the second. Arecki now with 20 kills. Samantha Seliger Swenson to Hart. Ellie with the swing. That's Haggerty right at the net. Morgan.
Yeah, not going to win too many of those 50-50 battles when it comes to a free ball over the net against Taylor Morgan. So smart, so athletic. Finds a way to keep it in and grab the point for Minnesota.
She's kind of your momentum builder too, every time Minnesota needs something.
So intense and passionate for every point.
Recchi with the slide. That play has worked time and time again tonight.
Yeah, it really has. Minnesota hasn't had an answer for it. If I'm Sydney Hilly, that's what I'm running on every play. And then, of course, Grace Loberg contributing on the pin has helped Dana Recchi on the other side of that.
Third career 20 or more performances here, including tonight. And there's Ms. Momentum.
9 kills for Taylor Morgan so far tonight. Really a quiet 9-2 for her. We haven't said her name a ton, but again, in the points that matter, she's been effective and really taking care of business too, especially on the overpasses and in the block as well.
Guess who hasn't been quiet? It's number 16 for Wisconsin.
She just keeps on rolling. 22 kills now for Dana Recchi. Unbelievable performance for her. That slide attack has been flawless. I'm curious. I'd be curious to know the blocking philosophy of why they're not gang blocking her on that slide attack.
One more for Recchi, and she ties a career high. Out to Loberg on the left side. Here's Samity. Seliger Swenson back to Samity, right at the double block. Set point now for Minnesota. Haley tried to dump it. Rollins. Seliger Swenson to Rollins. Pittman. Loberg. And it's Barnes in the back row. Ooh, free ball. Overpass. Wisconsin takes care of it.
It's a little bit too tight there for Rollins. Wisconsin playing good defense right now, staying disciplined, keying in on everything Minnesota wants to run. Sydney Healy looking to take charge at the service line within reason on game point.
Set point number 2 for Minnesota. Rollins takes care of it. And third set goes to Minnesota.
Adana Rollins, 13 kills, make that 14 on 27 attempts so far on this match, and Minnesota taking care of business in set number 3.
Start with the service with Tiffany Clark. Seliger Swenson trying to feed the middle, trying to get Morgan. Clark, where her head coach has said that she has been locked in and her mind is quiet, trying to get the second point. That time, Morgan finishes it.
Wow, that was a beautiful play, starting from the pass, too, from CeCe McGraw. And I was just taking a look, too, at the 2 passing situation they have on Minnesota's side. They're so good at ball control between Lauren Barnes and CeCe McGraw. That's a perfect setup for Seliger Swenson to just go to town, really, in any option that she wants.
Slide attack again for Recchi, and she has tied her career high now with 23 kills.
Keep running that slide attack until it proves otherwise. Run it, run it, run it until she can't.
To Samity. Loberg kept it alive for Wisconsin. Pittman. There's Clark. Recchi again. To Rollins. Loberg solid there in the back row. Equally as solid as Seliger Swenson. Tons of defense on this rally, and Rollins with the offense and the point.
I love how much of a go-to player Adana Rollins has become in this match, and she's taken that and embraced that role for her team. A smart choice by Reagan Pittman there to not overdo it and go after that ball, knowing she probably wasn't going to be able to reach it, and instead of making an error, she steps back, plays the free ball. Great setup there by Seliger Swenson.
Rollins leading the team with those 14 kills. Recchi again. And you've got to figure, man, Minnesota, they don't figure that out. She's got a new career high. Three times in her career, over 20-plus kills. And once again here tonight. Right off the block, and the point for the Gophers to tie it at 3.
It's interesting, too. The first time around against Wisconsin, it was their other 2 outside hitters, Samity and Alexis Hart, that had a field day. And today, Adana Rollins steps up. You know, that's the kind of teamwork and kind of balanced weapons that Minnesota has. Take out one, they've got another. 5
potential players who can get double-digit kills. Reagan Pittman puts it away.
And Pittman's been relatively quiet all match long, but nice contribution out of the middle. That deep corner shot is usually always a go-to and always a golden ticket for a middle.
That time the off-speed and a different look that time for Recchi, and her career-high night continues to build.
Yeah, Minnesota has not had an answer, like you said, for that slide attack. They've been running her on that all night long. Smart choice by Sydney Healy, too, to pull her a little bit inside. Wasn't as wide to the pin on that one. Strategically trying to stump the block on the other side, but Dana Recchi's been lights out off of 1 foot behind the setter tonight.
But another service error. It'll cost him a point. Here's the situation. Minnesota has not lost a match when they have led 2-1. in about 2 years.
Wow.
We got to go back to the beginning of October in 2016 at Penn State. They've been good at holding leads for the last couple of years, and certainly good this year. Perfect 12-0 in Big Ten play. Going off the block, it's Morgan. That 12-0 start, the best Big Ten start in program history in conference play. They started out 7-0 in 1999 and in 1989.
Wow. Been doing your history work.
I've got nothing else to do on Halloween. I'm here with you. Not trick-or-treating.
No trick-or-treating for you.
Loberg gets the point.
Grace Loberg once again coming up with a timely kill to keep this game close. And that was a smart set too by Sydney Hill. You see Seliger Swenson had to drop in on that blocking, leaving the line wide open for Grace Loberg.
To Hart. It's down. Minnesota gets the point. Five players for Minnesota on this offense, at least 7 kills. They spread it around. They hit you from 3 different pins. Really from 5 different players. Hart again. It's 7-6. Seliger Swenson comes over to get it, and Morgan picks up another point. Second on the team right now in kills.
That was a nice serve. Looked like it could have been going out of bounds, but a nice pass by Alexis Hart. Still finding a way to keep that ball in play, and Taylor Morgan utilizing those deep court shots. Very difficult ball to defend if you're middle, back row middle defender.
Barnes with the up, Morgan again. And how about the set here for Minnesota to get that point?
Sam Seliger Swenson off balance, but look at the location out of her hands. It's like glass, a perfectly located set for her middle attacker.
Her distribution is better, is what her head coach has said.
Yeah, I mean, she's falling backwards on that play, but she just knows she has that perfect touch. And obviously, the experience certainly helps with that, but she's so good. The ball comes out of her hands so clean. She can set it sideways over her head, flying with a bump set. She's Exhibit A, just really, really good at keeping her hitters involved and getting them in the best situations.
Here's Haggerty. Morgan there on the block. And going down the line, getting the touch. This one is nip and tuck in the fourth.
As close as we would expect it between a top 5 matchup here tonight, and Wisconsin's not going away. They haven't all set long. They've really stayed on track. Even when they lost in between sets 1 and 2, Coach told us, I don't really feel like we were off track at all. We've been on track all night long. They've been hanging in there.
Who's on track? It's Morgan. And again, Seliger Swenson feeding the hot hand.
She is, and that's what Hugh McCutcheon said. She is so good at finding the hot hand and keeping them going. Taylor Morgan right now has that. She keeps it rolling. Earlier this match, it was Rollins. She finds whoever has the momentum and finds ways to get them involved in the key moments.
It's been working all night. Why not there? Dana Recchi with another kill. The winning percentages by setters in the class. Samantha Seliger Swenson is one of 3 seniors here in the conference that has contributed to about an 83% win percentage.
Yeah, that experience definitely correlates to more wins. You have a better feel for certain situations you see over and over again. You know, you have a better feel for the game on the other side, but also on your side, and that chemistry you build with your hitters. And she's one of the best and most fun to watch in the Big Ten.
That point, though, Wisconsin had the feel on the block. for Minnesota's offense. Ties it at 10. Sanity Tulin. And again for Recchi. That time Pittman and Rollins are there. Double block again. It's an 11-10 advantage.
Yeah, Reagan Pittman is certainly getting her her workload tonight. They're working her pin to pin on the blocking front, but doing a nice job there getting her feet on both ends. So that's the tough part about being a middle blocker in a situation. We keep talking about Dana Recchi going off on one foot behind the setter. Well, Reagan Pittman has to go pin to pin, so she's deciding 1/2 second, do I go, do I stay? And that's exactly what we see here on that blocking lapse. But Dana Recchi's been getting 90% of those sets, I would say. I would cheat if I'm Reagan Pittman in the middle right now.
27 kills for Dana Recchi. We're knotted up at 11.
She's a machine.
Pittman. That's Barnes with the bump set. Free ball now for Minnesota. They go Rollins' way. Yep, that time by Dodge.
Woo, what a dig.
Pittman trying it. Minnesota gets the point.
Wow, this game is a battle. Great dig by Lauren Barnes in the back row. That was on a no blocking situation. Dana Recchi. There she goes, and what a play for Minnesota's defense.
23 ties in this match. Lauren Barnes with the 15 digs. Recchi, give it a go. Not only with some power, but she can adjust in the air.
Yeah, that was a great adjustment there, too. The set wasn't necessarily in the perfect location for her to hit off of, but still finds a way to keep it in. And Sydney Hilly finds a way to still continue to feed Dana Recchi, because if she touches it, it's a kill.
28 kills continues to be a career high. Each one she gets is a new career high. She's approaching 30 kills on the night. There's Pittman.
She's more than half of Wisconsin's kills right now on this match.
Wisconsin has to win this set. Keep the match going. No one has been able to knock off Minnesota in conference play. To Loberg with the tip. There's Hart with the hustle play.
Great defense.
Hilly back to Loberg.
What a play in the back row, both sides. This is such fun volleyball to watch. Everybody laying out, but Wisconsin hanging in there despite the incredible defense from Minnesota. Sydney Hilly putting Loberg once again on a one-on-one situation, and it's Loberg in the big moments where Wisconsin's needing to just fill the gap in the score, and it's Loberg who's come up huge for the Badgers.
24 ties in this match. Here's Hart. Hilly to Loberg. And the block is there. Morgan and Seliger-Swenson.
That's a solid duo right there, and on Wisconsin's side doing a nice job slowing the ball down as well. Grace Loberg, for the first time this match, really getting stuffed.
Here's the dangerous serving rotation. Seliger-Swenson floats it. Hilly to Duello, gets the touch. We're tied at 14.
Great play by Madison Duello, knowing that she has a big physical block up in front of her on the Minnesota side. Here she sees the high hands, she goes high hands. That's a ball that nobody's gonna defend.
That one's sailing well out of play. 15-14 edge, and we will take a timeout. Minnesota and Hugh McCutcheon looking to close it out. Headline for Wisconsin, really for this match, Dana Recchi with a career-high 28 kills.
28 kills, unbelievable. Dana Recchi has been loading up, really has been going to town in this Minnesota team on that slide attack behind Sydney Hilly. Minnesota hasn't had an answer for her all night. She's swinging over the block, granted, but she's finding ways to keep the ball in play even when the set isn't in the perfect location for her to get up and slam it. She still is smart and diligent with the opportunity she's getting. 33% of the total attempts across all of the hitters for Wisconsin right now are going to Dana Rettke, and I would keep feeding her the entire match.
I think that's a great idea. The most kills, as you saw there, by a Wisconsin player in about 10 years. Duello that time for the right side. Locked at 15. This is exactly the kind of back and forth match that you would expect between number 3 versus number 5. Both of these head coaches kind of try to downplay the rivalry.
Yeah, they did.
When you ask both of them, but we got another challenge here coming up. We're going to challenge. Minnesota will challenge if it's in or out on this last play.
Yeah, it looked like that one could have been a little bit closer on the outside attack by Madison Duello. Oh, it might have even grabbed Cece McGraw on the outside. Did it touch her? Either way, that it's hard to tell from this angle. Let's see. Close.
Again, the call on the court, they gave Wisconsin the point. They'll stand. So challenges remaining, one for each of these teams.
It's still a nice break and play too to break the momentum of Wisconsin. Hugh McCutcheon, knowing he has that challenge available to him. Smart play, smart call in my opinion.
To Rollins. Loper, and the tip kill, again from Taylor Morgan. Her head coach has said she's always been talented athletically. She's had to catch up to the volleyball IQ. She used to only be able to do 1 to 2 things really well, and now she has evolved. She's giving the Gophers a 1-point edge. Loper can't handle that, but play from Clark.
What a play.
Here's Rollins.
That one's just a gut wrencher for Tiffany Clark. Just sprawling out. Even the members of the crowd for the Badgers ready to pick her up in case she flies into them. That one hurts.
Wisconsin calling the timeout. And we will take a TO as well.
Thing is, it's very balanced right now, and probably on the scouting report on Wisconsin side, they were keying in on the 2 players that really shredded them the first time around, Alexis Hart and Stephanie Samity. But Adana Rollins, just a freshman, picking up a huge load for this Minnesota team. She said, "You're not going to put 2 blockers on me? Okay, I'm going to take care of business," and she's proving herself here tonight.
Hugh McCutcheon immediately saying, when I had asked him about her numbers hitting below 100 the last couple of matches, he quickly said, look, she's more than capable. She just hasn't had the opportunities. We've gone to her more out of system in the last couple of matches.
Sometimes the numbers don't always tell the full story. She's not getting put in those ideal situations. It's not necessarily her fault for not being able to produce as high of a number.
That time it's Samity's turn. 18 to 15, and again tonight, Minnesota looking to find ways to win a volleyball match. It's one of the things that Kelly Sheffield, we passed along a compliment to Hugh McCutcheon in this Minnesota program. He said they're playing the best volleyball, really, you could argue, in the country. And they're chasing perfection. Samity, 19 points here in the 4th set.
Here's where Minnesota starts to pull away with the momentum a bit. Just too physical to handle right now for Wisconsin, who looks like they're running out of a little bit of gas here, and that was a great angle by Stephanie Samity. Even off a bump set by Selliger Swenson.
Her 53rd assist for her, and it's a season high. And Samantha Selliger Swenson, one one of the seniors here on this team, feeding one of the freshmen, the youngest on this team for Minnesota, Adana Rollins, who's leading right now Minnesota with 16 kills.
Yeah, 16 kills for her, and just doing an excellent job right now, picking her angles. She's really hit every single aspect of this court. Loves that cross-court thumb down shot, cut shot, and also has done some damage down the line here tonight as well, but staying calm. I love her attitude and her approach amidst a loud, intimidating crowd here for Wisconsin.
About 4 double-doubles here on the year. Had one against Nebraska that we mentioned. Also double-doubles against Penn State and Maryland. And another one here tonight.
I like those bright yellow nails, too.
Yeah, those
matching
nice.
the maroon and gold.
I'll remind you, too, the field hockey semifinals coming up this weekend as well. Women's soccer is in the postseason as well as field hockey. Volleyball here, we are in the second half of conference play, so you will get to see meetings like you are tonight, where teams are facing each other for the second time around. Service error out of the timeout.
Yeah, at this point in November, I just remember the days of being in the middle of Big Ten play. You're exhausted at this point in the season. I mean, it is a lot of travel. It is a lot of tough volleyball played. Survival of the fittest.
And Minnesota has been able to do that time and time again. Another point for Samity. Double-double for her. Samity, one of the sophomores. Hugh McCutcheon has had a good mix of veterans, like Samantha Seliger-Swenson, who's a senior. He's had some underclassmen, sophomore class, and freshmen. We talked about Adana Rollins, who have performed like veterans. Slide attack for Recchi. 29 kills for Dana Recchi.
She's really been unbelievable on this slide attack off of 1 foot. Reagan Pittman really just hasn't had an answer for her, and that's a credit to the Sydney Hilly, who's been bumping up the tempo a bit, putting her on different areas of the slide, pulling her in sometimes, pushing her out sometimes. She's been absolutely dominant.
They've almost gone to her 50 attempts. Loberg. Seliger-Swenson to Rollins, who's having quite a night.
Once again, to your point of Seliger-Swenson finding the hot hand. She knows when to feed her hitters. Adana Rollins has been rolling so far this match, but also a favorable matchup in the blocking situation against Sydney Hilly, taking full advantage.
17 kills, 20 is her career high. And she's one of 4 in double-digit kills for this offense. Recchi again, 30 kills on the night.
I don't even have any more words to say. I'm speechless at how Dana Recchi has been shredding this Minnesota block, just finding ways to exploit a very physical presence across the net from her.
Service error. You got to go back 18 years. The last time a Wisconsin player had 30 or more kills in a match. Hilly to Loberg. Wisconsin, if it's going to go down, it's going to go down swinging.
Yep, this Wisconsin team hasn't gone away all night long. Grace Loberg finding a split blocking situation, speeding up her arm swing just slightly to beat the block. Great play by Grace Loberg.
One of the better matches for her tonight. A double-double. She had tied her career high 18 digs against Nebraska. She's up there again tonight. Yep, from Clark. Hilly trying to feed Duello. Here's Hart. How about Clark? Seliger Swenson to Hart. From the back row, it's Haggerty. Hart again. It's down. Point Minnesota.
Alexis Hart, so physical. She's found these deep corners a couple of times tonight. Goes right over the head of Haggerty and Clark, splitting the defenders, finding those deep corners, yet she can still hit the close angles as well, which makes her a challenge to line up against.
Here's your ace.
Took a while between aces, but Seliger Swenson, one of the best servers in the nation, as you mentioned, Lisa, and she's got that perfect touch just to let that ball tail off at the last second.
Minnesota match point. How about Hart to finish it? Gets it down. Minnesota stays undefeated in the Big Ten.
And after a first set drop, they respond business as usual, as if that set hadn't even happened at all. Minnesota storming through with a balanced attack and proving why they are the #3 ranked team in the nation.
Finding ways to win and responding to challenges. Hugh McCutcheon and the Gophers have now won 14 straight. They haven't lost a match since early in September when they dropped back-to-back to Oregon and Stanford.